Fun facts about Claire Carpenter. First of all, she once spent a winter at a research station in Antarctica. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where she met her husband. But is that true? Okay. She also once spent a summer on a sailboat in the Galapagos Islands, but I don't have any details about what she saw, probably blue-footed boobies and stuff.
I was researching natural selection in land iguanas and lava lizards.
Oh, cool. And now she teaches biology and human anatomy and physiology and microbiology and other things at Yakima Valley College. And I will just add that when the biology department, I can't remember what year it was, had a job opening, it was years ago, we were so lucky that Claire applied and she actually accepted the job. So that was lucky for us. Besides teaching, Claire keeps busy raising goats, boys, and free-range vegetables. Although she doesn't mention the free-range chickens and turkeys that I've seen at her place, but maybe they're gone. Are they gone?
We have chickens, but not turkeys anymore.
Not turkeys anymore. Okay. Claire loves to wander our sagebrush-covered ridges with her dog and her goats, dreaming of adventures. I added the goats here because one of my friends told me that one day they saw Claire, her son, and 2 baby goats hiking the trails at Snow Mountain Ranch, and that it was quite a sight. I wish I could have seen it. And I would love to hike with baby goats too. And you might see Claire roaming the streets of Yakima on a green bicycle, reciting poems to herself. So I'm happy to introduce my friend and colleague, Claire Carpenter, who will entertain us this evening with the biology of aging.
Thank you, Judy. That was a great introduction. We're due to have more baby goats in March. So once again, you will probably find me wandering the trails with boys and baby goats. Okay, so before I get into the core of my presentation, I just want to explain why I'm using this slide as the image for my title slide. So this is showing a cross section through the leg of some men of different ages. And so the white and black, that's the bone. And then the dark gray is muscle. And then the white ring around the edge, that's a layer of subcutaneous fat. And if you compare the image labeled C to the image labeled D, you can see that comparing the 66-year-old to the 24-year-old, there's significant reduction in muscle mass and more fat. Some of the muscle has been replaced with fat. And so we are seeing loss of strength, fundamentally loss of strength. And so we know that this happens with age. We know that you get muscle mass, less muscle mass with age. And so part of what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be talking about the biology of aging, what occurs at the cellular and organ level in our bodies as we get older.
Claire, you're not on the full screen. Do you know that?
Oh, so, okay, no.
Just so you know that. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, but the third image, the one that's labeled E, is also a cross-section through a 66-year-old man. And you can see, though, that there's a lot less loss of muscle. And the difference here is the amount of physical activity. So you can see that by the average number of daily steps. So the man whose image is in E is getting almost 4 times as much exercise as the one in the middle. And so that represents the other big thing that I want to talk about, that yes, changes occur, biological changes occur with age, but also I want to address what can we do to delay those changes, reduce those changes, maybe even reverse those changes. And so that's why this third image is there. So before we zoom too closely into human aging, I just want to talk a little bit about a cross-species comparison. So the graph there on the left shows life expectancy, and you can see it shows life expectancy on the x-axis, and you can see that there are some species like mice and hamsters that just live a couple of years, and other species can live for decades. But one of the things that scientists realized from looking at data like this is that the number of heartbeats that species are getting is actually remarkably consistent, despite these big differences in lifespan. So if you look at a shrew, its heart is racing along at 1,000 beats per minute. In its 2 years, it's getting about 1 billion heartbeats. A blue whale has a resting heart rate closer to 25 beats per minute. So if you do the math for it, you get, again, about 1 billion heartbeats. So over a wide range of mammalian species with very different life expectancies, the thing they have in common is about 1 billion heartbeats is what makes for a life. And so that's a really interesting pattern, but it's also interesting to look at the outliers from that, the species that are getting more than the expected number of heartbeats. And so anything that's above the line is living longer than you would expect based on the number of heartbeats. So you can see that humans are significantly above the line. We're getting much more than 1 billion heartbeats. So if we do the math for that, the World Health Organization says right now the average life expectancy is about 73 years. And the average heart rate is about 75 beats per minute. We do the math for that and we get almost 3 billion beats. We would burn through 1 billion beats in about 25 years. So we are living significantly more heartbeats than most species. But we're not the biggest outlier. There's a species called the naked mole rat. So this is a rodent. It's found in East Africa. It is a social animal, so it lives in these colonies with reproductive members breeding and other members not. And if you look at the reproductive members, the queen of the colony, they can live 30 years, at least in captivity. And if you do the math for that, you're getting almost 4 billion beats. So humans are not at the maximum number of beats that you could imagine a heart doing. That would correspond for humans living about 100 years. Naked mole rats are an interesting organism in other ways too. They almost never get cancer. And so they are a model organism for many scientists who are interested in studying the biology of aging, because if we can figure out why do they live so much longer than other rodents, then we can take some of that knowledge and apply it to people. Okay, so zooming in on humans, we see that the average life expectancy of humans has changed quite a bit over time. So this shows the United States from the mid-1800s, and you can see the steady trend of increasing life expectancy. First, although the reasons for it keep changing. So first we figured out public sanitation, so we quit losing kids to diarrheal diseases. There was a dip in life expectancy with the Spanish flu. Then we discovered antibiotics, we invented vaccines, and then later in the mid to late 1900s, we started making progress on some of the diseases of later life, so heart disease, cancer. So we've seen this steady increase in life expectancy. And this has led some people to predict that humans are going to live a lot longer in the future, that this life expectancy graph will just keep going. And there's been money has changed hands, that the first person to live to 150 has already been born. I wouldn't put a lot of money on that bet. I think that's pretty much a fringe view, but it is an exciting time in aging research. We do seem to be on the cusp of some breakthroughs in at least understanding aging. And so maybe, but I wouldn't put money on it. And one reason I wouldn't put a lot of money on it is that you can see that the curve is kind of flattening here in the last couple of decades. The curve is flattening. And then in the last couple of years, we've seen an actual decrease in life expectancy. And this started even before the COVID pandemic. But it's a combination of COVID-19, the opioid epidemic, increased rates of obesity. So these have led to drops in life expectancy. So it makes it harder to believe those that think that we're going to be living to 150 anytime soon. There are racial differences in life expectancy, but all of them have experienced a drop in the last couple of years. There are also regional differences in life expectancy. So if you are born and raised in Hawaii, then you have 9 years of extra life expectancy than if you're born and raised in Mississippi. These differences in the United States, in different states, are small compared to global differences. So if we look at different countries, we can see really big differences in life expectancy. So Japan and South Korea, Singapore, like those countries have life expectancies that are 30 years greater than countries at the lowest life expectancy, most of which are located in Africa. I want to point out that having a life expectancy in the 50s doesn't mean that nobody in those countries lives to be old. It just means that high levels of infant mortality and childhood mortality are bringing down the overall average life expectancy. But this graph also shows the difference in life expectancy between women and men. So the x-axis shows the life expectancy of men, and the y-axis shows of women. And if they were the same, all the countries would land right on that green line. But you see that almost every country, its bubble is significantly above the green line. So in almost all countries, women live longer than men, sometimes quite a lot longer than men. And this seems to be a combination of things. We know estrogen has protective effects on the heart. We know that in many places, men are more likely to smoke than women, and smoking has a big impact on life expectancy. We also know that men are more likely to die from violence, from accidents, from risky behavior. And some of that is probably driven by testosterone levels. And we know that women in general have more social bonds than men do. And we also know that social bonding is protective against early death. So for some combination of those reasons, and probably for different reasons in different countries, we're seeing significantly higher life expectancy for women versus for men, especially in places where there aren't high levels of childbirth mortality. So what we're seeing is been big differences across time and in different countries in the average life expectancy. But that's different than the maximum life expectancy. The average life expectancy is saying, how long on average do people live? That counts all the people who die young. The maximum life expectancy is saying, how long can we expect the very oldest people to live? And the oldest woman ever recorded was Jeanne Calment. She was 122 when she died. Nobody else has even ever passed 120. When she was 90, she sold her apartment to her attorney with the understanding that he would take possession of it upon her death. And she went on to live for another 30 years, and she actually outlived him. And so he never got possession of the apartment. The current oldest person is an American-born Spanish woman, and she's currently 115. She's had the title since January. And yes, these are really remarkable ages. But even in ancient Greece and in ancient Egypt, there were people who were living to be quite remarkable ages as well. So we know there was a Greek philosopher who lived to be 109. There was an Assyrian priestess who lived to be 104. And these are people who were famous enough that the record of their birth and death has managed to be passed down for 2,000 years, and we still know how old they were. Presumably, that's just the tip of the iceberg, and that there were plenty of other old.
Did we lose Claire, Chrissy?
We might have, yeah, she's frozen. So Claire, if you're there.
Claire, do you need to re-log on or? This is a very compelling place to stop.
We'll take a little break here.
That has never happened before.
Yeah, well, as they say, stuff happens.
Yeah.
What is the average life expectancy of a Zoom video?
Depends whether you record it and whether it continues when you're recording it, Larry.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna have 2 videos now because I just stopped the video. So we'll have 2 videos now. That's okay.
So let's see.
Now, who wants to live to be 122? Raise your hand. Lots of no.
Can you call Claire?
I can try to call her. Let me try.
She's probably trying to get back on. Yeah,
Is she? Let's see.
I don't know. I'm assuming.
Okay, let me try.
Oh, we haven't had this happen before, but you know,
I just want to note that Ed is exercising. So some people are utilizing this time in a very positive way.
they are. Susie's cooking. Yeah.
Gotta
Yes.
set an example, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to turn in the cross sections of our legs at the end of each year to see how we're doing. How about that?
I'm gonna go pick up grandkids. So tell Claire thanks for me.
All right. Thanks,
All
Barbara.
right. Yeah.
Let me see, make sure.
Claire Carpenter, please leave a message. Please,
Oh,
when you have finished, please hang up. Press the pound key for more options.
I wonder.
Claire, we're missing you. We're hoping you're trying to log on. Call me if you need to. Bye. She's not answering her phone, so let's assume she's trying to log on and wait another few minutes here and hope for the best.
I know yesterday it was so windy.
Called her and she's not.
That could have been, you know, a reason, the internet, but yeah, I don't know.
Maybe her building caught on fire.
Yeah, don't say, I know, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say that. That's,
Well,
that
yeah.
would be bad. Yeah.
Let's be patient a little longer and we'll see what happens. And then I guess the worst case scenario is that we'll reschedule, but hopefully we won't need to do that.
Man, we were just getting into it there. Yeah.
I can brag about my auntie Anna. She's my mother's sister. She's 104 now. Still going strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who has another old, anybody can beat that? No, 104, that's significant.
My
Where
mom
did she
died
live?
last year at 102, but she thought that was too long to live.
But that was how old your mom was, right? Yeah. My mom-
I had a great grandmother that lived to be 104. And there was I grew up in Seattle. And so in the Seattle newspaper, I was 4 and she was 104, and they had a picture of me sitting on her lap.
That's pretty cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my sister was saying she has a neighbor, and I was visiting someone who's 98 today, and people who are 98 are paying a lot of attention to what's happening with Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
They're identifying with him. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, not dead yet. You can be on hospice for 6 months. I was thought that was weird that all the accolades were pouring in stories, but
Yeah, you can, but I'm not sure you will. Yeah, because we were talking about he's had a lot of health problems.
yeah.
Kind of recently. Yeah.
Gosh, well, the only other thing I can think of is to try to text Claire. So
She doesn't have a cell phone.
I was worried about.
I texted Jared and he doesn't answer. I called the secretary. She's already gone. I'm trying Matthew right now.
Okay, because she didn't answer her phone and I left a message, so I think she'd call me back if she.
Yeah.
We are victims of technology.
We are victims of technology. This is the first to think of all these
I
things.
Yeah.
What about email?
Yeah. Yeah,
Email. We haven't tried that yet.
that's true. Let me try that.
You gonna do it? Okay.
She may not be aware that we're down. She may just
I
be
know, she
talking
may
away,
just-
giving her.
Yeah, changing her slide, yeah,
Was she at YVC?
Yes.
yeah, she's in her office.
Maybe somebody.
That makes it even more unusual, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is there a chat so we can chat with her?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's an idea.
Oh, that's an idea, yeah. Are you gonna do it, Mary Lou?
I
No,
can do that.
you see, put that thing in the chat that says, help, we can't see you.
Yeah.
She's not even on there though. See, because she has,
It's not on the.
yeah. She's not
Oh.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Claire. Yeah, because she's dropped off. She knows we're not. Yeah, I'm sure she knows something's going on.
We can't see you. And we'll see.
Yeah, she's not in the chat. But I see some other chats there.
Well, the reason we have multiple hosts, it's funny because
Did she do that?
this message that I was at the beginning of the early Zoom talks, I warned everybody that we had several hosts because if one of us got bumped off Zoom, then the other one could carry on the program. But we've never had a guest get bumped off Zoom before. Maybe once actually we did, and they got right back on. But
Yeah, something must be going on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
with their internet.
Matthew texted, she's working on it. Let me know if it happens again. So he's helping her.
okay.
Okay.
So there's hope.
There's hope. Good.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here she comes. Great.
Yay.
Hi.
I have no idea what happened. Suddenly you guys weren't there. Everything went black and it took forever for everything to reboot. So I apologize.
Oh,
I have
wow.
no idea.
No problem.
Do you know? Okay.